Working with text strings within Excel can be both frustrating and difficult, particularly if that data has been imported from another program. In this video, I'm going to talk you through the main functions you need to become both confident and efficient and to get the job done. Let's have a look. Now let's look at the main formula we'll be using to work with text strings. Now in reality, we'll be using a combination of all of these to work out more complicated problems later on. But for the moment, let's just go down individually to make sure we can understand how each formula works. So the first one we're going to look at is the upper formula, and that's quite simple. We just type in upper tab, we select our text that we want, and then we close our brackets. And all it does is it translates everything into uppercase. The opposite of that, obviously, is our lower formula. Translates everything into lowercase. And then finally, if we look at our proper, that effectively capitalizes the first letter of each individual word. Close our parentheses so we can see it's capitalized the J and the B of John Brown. Look at some of the other text string formulae. So if I look at my trim formula, equals only one argument we want, and effectively what this formula does is it removes any leading or following spaces. So you can see in the text I have here, ABC, you can see that there's several spaces at the start. So trim will just literally trim that off and remove that, and you can see that the space is removed from the front of ABC. The left function, quite simple again. We've got a text and we've got a number of characters. So we want to get left from this text here, and we want to get, starting from left to right, the first three letters. So if I select 3, ABC. So the formula works from left to right, and it just captures the number of characters that you want to get. Obviously the opposite to that is our right formula. And again, it's got two arguments, text and number of characters. We select the text that we want to find our answer in, and we just select how many characters we want, and that will work from right to left. So you can see that takes us D, E, F. So if I equals mid, open my brackets, the text I want is just here, but I want to specify C and D. So I want to get C and D, which is in the middle of the text. So I can see that C is my third character from the left. So if I start my start number as 3 and then comma, and I want 2 characters because I want the C and the D, I close my brackets, you can see then it returns C and D. So mid always works from left to right. Then we have our find function. Now this helps us locate a specific character within a text string. So in this instance, I'm going to see where the letter B falls within this text string. So if I select B within this text, and I'm not going to specify what start number, I'm just going to close my brackets there, and you can see that actually it tells me that B is the second character within this text string, which makes sense. Finally, similar to find is our search function, and works very similar to find. So if I say I want to find B in text here, turn that value. Now where find and search are different is find is actually case sensitive. So if I was to change that B to a capital B, it wouldn't be able to find it because it can't find a capital B within there. Now let's have a look at some real life examples. So what we've got here is we've got some text here, which effectively is made up with a surname, a county, and a postcode. So let's go in and see if we can find the surname first within this text string. So we're looking for Brown. So if I equals left is our text, and I can see that Brown is the first 5 characters. So if I enter in 5, close my brackets, you can see returns the value Brown. But if I drag that down, you can see then I get errors for the rest of the surnames, and that's because the surnames are always varying lengths within here, so they're not always 5 characters. So we're going to have to find a solution for that. So let's just delete that for the moment. What I do notice is that each surname is followed by this symbol, which is a little hyphen, which looks like a minus. So if I can find where that hyphen is within this text strings, I'll know where each of the surname ends. So I've got my helper columns here, which effectively are going to help me to break down the formula into its component parts, and then I can nest them later on within my formula in the end. So I want to find my hyphen within this text. So let's put in the formula equals find. The text I want to find, I put it in quotation marks, is my hyphen, comma, and I want to find it within that cell there. Close my brackets, and you can see it returns a 6. So that effectively means that the hyphen is the 6. Drag that down. You can see I've got a varying length of where that hyphen is in each of these text strings. So if I go back to my surname here and I want to enter equals left, the text is this text here in cell B4, and my number of characters is this one here. Now if I to select that, it's not going to be correct because effectively that's where the hyphen starts. I want to be one character to the left of that to get the end of my surname Brown. So I'm going to do D4 and I'm going to do -1, close my brackets and hit return. And let's see if that works if I drag that down. Yeah, that works great. So you can see Brown, Howe, Higginbottom and Beck. So all different lengths of surnames, and they work fine. Next, we're going to look for our county, which is in the middle of our text string in here. So we're going to use a mid formula to use that, but we're going to need a little bit of a help with our helper columns here. So what I can notice is that the county starts after the hyphen within this text string, and it ends at the end of the first space. So what I want to do is I want to use our helper columns to find that first space. So if I go in and equals find, open my brackets, open my quotation marks, space, close my quotation marks, comma, string, and then close my brackets here. And that will tell me that actually the first space comes after 13 characters. So if I just drag that down, and then I can type in my mid formula into county. So equals mid. I want to find starting number is effectively, it's the character after my hyphen. So if I use where I'm finding my hyphen, what I want to do here is I want to add 1 to that, and then space, which was the 13th character, minus where it found the hyphen, close my brackets and hit return. That returns what I want, Surrey. And if I drag that down, it should work there nicely. Final piece of information we want to pull out here is postcode. And that's effectively all of the remaining digits and numbers within this text string here. And you can see they're a varying length and they start and stop at the end of different places. So what we need to do here, because it's at the end of the string, we want to find out what's the total length of that string, and we can use the formula. What that does is it just counts the total number of characters within that text string. So if I drag that down, the varying different lengths of each of these character text strings. Now what I want to do is I want to get the distance between this first space and the end of that character length, and that will give me the postcode that I need. So if I just go in and enter that formula, equals mid is here. Starting place is where I found my here, but actually I need to add 1 to that because it's effectively starting the space here, but I know that the postcode starts the character after the space, whereas the length of my characters is effectively my total length minus when the first space was. Close my brackets and hit return, and you can see it returns the postcode. And if I drag that down, you can see that it returns everything that I want there. Now if we want to get rid of our helpers, we can do that now. So if I go in here and take this formula as an example, if we copy that, it's in our formula there, turn, and then that will work just as well. We're going to look at one of Excel's new features, which I think is only available in Excel 365, which is the TEXTSPLIT function. So here we have some data, which is effectively a list of items. So we have a car, bus, train, and plane. Each of those items then is separated with a comma. So if we want to take that list and separate it out into its component parts, we can use a function called TEXTSPLIT. So let's see how it works. Equals TEXTSPLIT. That. Where is the text we want? It's there in cell B3. Then we do our comma, our column delimiter. So what is it that is we want Excel to go and look to separate each of these items? So in this instance, it looks like it's just a comma. So if we put in comma, quotation marks, and close our parentheses and hit return, you can see then it spills over into the following cells and we get our list of 4 separate items. But I guess if we look down to the next row, to row 4, what happens if our limiter is not just a comma, it can be a semicolon or a colon? Well, we can use TEXTSPLIT in that instance as well. So equals TEXTSPLIT, comma. Now what we need to put in here is we need to put in our curly brackets, and then we can specify as many delimiters as we want, which is really, really useful. So first one is a comma. We put a comma between each specifier as well. Second one is a semicolon. Third one is a colon. So if I close my curly brackets and close my other brackets and hit return, you can see it's able to handle that no problem at all. So really powerful and useful function within Excel 365. So hopefully that's provided you with a little bit of an overview of the main functions you need to really tame text strings. If you liked that video, please hit subscribe and like, or if you want to watch my next video, just watch up here. Thanks a million.